saw the second and final presidential debate ahead of the upcoming election. Democratic candidate Joe Biden and President Donald Trump faced off at Belmont University in Nashville. 23 ABC's Carrie Osep is joining us live from one of our local polling places at Valley Baptist Church with a recap on tonight's debate. Carrie?
Hi, Jess. Well, the first thing that you could notice was the composure in the room, something we did not get for the first presidential debate. It was also moderated with more control, as well as an option to have muted mics, which ensured that American voters watching could hear both candidates. And both men seizing the moment in prime time to make sure that they had their closing arguments stated before the election in this final presidential debate of the 2020 election. Compared to the first presidential debate back in September, which will be remembered more for the interruptions than its points, the atmosphere in Nashville felt more like a real debate, as both candidates were able to speak uninterruptedly for 2 minutes to begin each topic. The main similarity was the emphasis yet again on the COVID-19 pandemic. President Donald Trump believes the country is rounding a corner.
And we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
Even claiming we're on the verge of a vaccine.
I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics. And this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine. And we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
While former Vice President and Democratic candidate Joe Biden stuck to his approach of calling out the president for not acting quicker in his response to the pandemic, addressing the lives lost since COVID-19 hit here in America.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
One of the issues discussed was race in America, as moderator Kristen Welker addressed Trump's lack of support for the Black Lives Matter movement.
But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Biden striking a nerve in oil towns across the nation like Bakersfield, with his comments during the topic of climate change saying he would encourage a future transition from the oil industry.
Because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies.
Both candidates continued to clash on other topics like national security, immigration, and health care. But more watching this final debate, like our 23 ABC political contributors, they were relieved that the points were actually heard this time around.
The moderator, Kristen, did a great job allowing both sides an opportunity to have equal time covered. And I thought that they were both very respectful of each other tonight, too, allowing the American people to hear their path forward.
I think it was a much more civil debate, although it couldn't have been much worse. I think maybe Trump listened to some of his advisors, at least for the first part of the debate, and didn't interrupt, and the American people benefited by listening to the actual candidates.
While this final presidential debate served as a platform for both candidates to be heard in primetime by American voters, more than 47 million Americans have already cast their vote, according to the Washington Post. That's a record level of early voting. So while they may have wanted to have more impact, both candidates may not have that impact now, but at least we know that we got to hear them in this final presidential debate. But later in the show, we will break down if the polls are something you can trust to let us know who may win the 2020 election. For 23 ABC News, I'm Carrie Osep. I'll send it back to you.